A new league, a new meta, and a brand new choice of tier 1 relics to make. Let's talk about all of them, and by the end of the video, I will tell you which one is broken. Our 3 new tier 1 relics are called Lumberjack, Animal Wrangler, and Power Miner. If you got any one of these in the main game, they would be absurdly broken. But this year in leagues, we get to start off by choosing a pretty narrow section of gathering and production and buff it like crazy. And I think that is a beautiful design choice for the early game, but what strategies can we come up with, and how can it affect the late game? First off, let's talk about Power Miner. You'll see aspects of previous relics wrapped into one on this one. You'll receive an Echo Pickaxe, which is like an amazing crystal pickaxe with no requirements. To activate its ability, you need to have it in your inventory or equipped, and the benefits that it gives are mining is so much faster. What you mine is automatically banked, which lowers your click intensity while training mining. Speaking of lowering click intensity, you'll get to mine 4 pieces of ore from a single click, and you have a choice to toggle if you want those ores to automatically be smelted into bars while getting the smithing experience. And the same idea goes for gems. Very cool, honestly. So when it comes to Power Miner, here's some initial thoughts. Now, we don't have too much information so far yet, but we do know that we're going to be in a Trailblazer style league, which means we're going to pick 3 regions. So how can these relics play with our potential region choices? When it comes to Power Miner, I see Asgarnia as its best friend. A couple of massive things that go into me saying that are the fact that you get mining gloves from Asgarnia, which can turn your AFK mining into 7 ores per click, as well as it being confirmed that you're able to get a dwarf cannon from only picking Asgarnia. It's not locked behind multi-region, which is a design philosophy that they've been leaning toward ever since last league. If you want to use a dwarf cannon this league, just remember that you're going to have to supply all the cannonballs yourself. And if you want to make a bunch of cannonballs, you can't really say no to being able to easily produce a giant pile of steel bars. I think Power Miner gives an easy answer to early game GP, but I'm not going to emphasize that as being such a great thing. I think perhaps one of the true strengths of Power Miner is how unpopular mining is in general. Even though it is easy to train skills in League, everything is still relative, so leveling your mining and smithing all the way to 99 with just the base buffs that League gives can still feel like an arduous thing. So if you're the kind of person who absolutely hates mining, you may choose to amplify it so that you have to spend less time doing it. Now here's some final big thoughts about Power Miner. If you're looking ahead at what regions you might want to pick, just know that if you pick the desert, you'll have access to the Giant's Foundry, which will offer really good smithing experience rates. So if you pick desert and Power Miner, they're a little bit in contention with one another. The same goes with having access to the Blast Furnace in the Fremenic region. Now let's talk about the Harpoon one, which is actually called Animal Wrangler. Now fair warning, it's a common thing to hear the bonuses of Animal Wrangler and think it's the best one immediately. You get an Echo Harpoon in the same way that you get an Echo Pickaxe from the last one. The Echo Harpoon allows you to fish super fast, the fish are automatically sent to your bank, and 50% of them will automatically be cooked. And you get the experience for that too. You get to attempt to catch fish 1 tick faster. I love that one. And this is the smallest little thing, but you don't have to bother with getting all the extra fishing equipment because the Echo Harpoon just acts as everything. And here's the part of Animal Wrangler that you wouldn't be able to guess from looking at the picture. Aspects of last year's Trickster are in Animal Wrangler. We get hunter traps never failing, box traps catching chins faster, chinchompas are doubled, impling jars don't break, and you never ever burn anything. And that includes things that you might not expect, like wines won't spoil either. Surface level, you might read these and think about all the food that you can automatically supply yourself in the early game, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. So far, the biggest benefit that Animal Wrangler gives that I can see is a very famous thing to do in leagues, and that is maximum AFK time fishing Karambwans. Don't get me wrong, fishing Karambwans with any relic is going to be quite a chill experience, but Animal Wrangler automatically sends fish to your bank. So this is the only relic where you can truly click on the fishing spot and wait 25 minutes with 0 interaction with the game after that. I think AFK time is very important to most people because leagues lasts a long time and it feels very good to be able to be productive even when you have other things to do. Hunter traps never failing feels fantastic at the beginning when you're training hunter, but at the end it kind of falls off because some of the late game hunter content already never fails, such as herbivore or moonlight antelope. Now for the region picks that Animal Wrangler buffs, I have the desert as the best friend region of Animal Wrangler, and it's almost entirely for Temperos. Temperos gets a lot more chill when a bunch of those fish just come into your inventory automatically cooked. And as for a side friend region, we've got the wilderness, providing black chinchambas to make your hunter perk go crazy. Despite how strong the meta of AFK and Karambwan is going to be, I think that Animal Wrangler is going to allow people to fish the highest tier fish that they have access to. Those in the wilderness will be fishing dark crabs. Those in Zaya will be fishing anglerfish. And if you don't have either of those, absolutely everyone has access to sharks. So you will have easy access to the best food in the game. Something that I really want to point out is because Desert is the best friend of Animal Wrangler, you'll also be taken care of in terms of getting 99 smithing through Giant's Foundry. So you can feel a little bit better about leaving Power Miner behind. Now let's get into Lumberjack. A few people love it, but only a few. You're gonna get the Echo Axe, which obviously is like a crystal one. You get to chop logs successfully more often, which makes redwoods crazy. Obviously, items automatically get to go to your bank, and there's a toggle on this axe, which lets you fletch them automatically or burn them automatically. Just keep in mind that if you're fletching them, they have to be turned into arrow shafts. I'm not even gonna read the final perk because that's so bad. I think the viewers who are watching this video, who've already been surrounded by leagues and people talking about these things, are going to be really interested to hear if I can come up with a use case for what makes Lumberjack good. Well, I've got this argument for you. One use case of Lumberjack comes from if you skip Zaya, you're going to have to come up with another way to train your fire making. And Lumberjack could take care of that for you if you want. And my second use case, which you might have missed if you weren't paying attention, is that Lumberjack nicely buffs your construction training ability. In Leagues 4, I used the utility of Banker's Note to be able to AFK chopping mahogany trees, and so far, all we know from Leagues 5 is that Lumberjack is going to allow you to do the same thing, but even more AFK than Banker's Note was. I would say the best friend region pick is also its worst enemy. Lumberjack takers are going to love the benefit of being able to chill in the woodcutting guild and get the most out of their axe, while also having a buffed experience at Wintertod. But Wintertod is the exact reason why I bring this up as a worse enemy. You might take Lumberjack to train your fire making. You might choose Zaya to train your fire making. And so if there's two things that you take that are doing the same job, that's usually not a good thing. And now that we've talked through every single tier 1 relic, we're all on the same page, and I'd like to say this about every single one. All of the tier 1 relics have a worst enemy region. Tyrannwyn, which currently is projected to be the least popular region of Leagues 5, gets a little bit of a hit when you hand players great tools. One of the tiny little perks that comes with picking Tyrannwyn is access to crystal tool seeds. Everyone in Leagues 5 is already going to be handed a crystal tool on day 1. So it's not crazy, but it's a little bit of a kick to the guy who's already down. Now, just before revealing what I think is right for me, I wanted to ease the tension a little bit and just say, don't sweat this choice too much yet. To me, this tier 1 relic is designed to be pretty low stakes at the beginning of the game, and there's not too much here that's going to affect your entire game or long play. Like I said, every single one of these is super strong. You'd be so happy to have them in the main game. But I think the biggest reason to not sweat them too much, but it's good to be knowledgeable about them, is that there are more relics still coming. So who knows, a week from now, we might all be Lumberjack fans because it's going to synergize hard with something else. Now, I've seen some content creators come out and reveal what their choice is, and while community polls point toward Animal Wrangler, as I think about this choice and come to a conclusion for myself, my first pick, which I've thought long about, is Power Miner. I'm personally looking forward to a stream of GP that comes in through these bars, easy mining and smithing experience, two skills which I've struggled with in the past, and I fear that Animal Wrangler takes away some AFK opportunity. Now, when I was talking about Animal Wrangler, I talked about it unlocking true 25-minute AFK, but that might be overkill, a little bit too strong. So strong, in fact, that you might accidentally run out of room to continue beneficially fishing. And it is a rough feeling to be at 200 mil fishing experience at week 3 of Leagues. My thought behind Power Miner also comes with the thought that I personally would love to avoid the desert region this year, just a personal preference, and also avoid the wilderness. So if I'm missing a couple of the best friends of Animal Wrangler, I think I can feel okay with leaving it behind. Even though I personally am leaning toward Zaya as one of my choices, I would feel so good about fishing some anglers, but I might just have to leave this behind. And just quickly on that topic of AFK, being able to click an ore vein and getting 4 ores instead of 1 is going to feel great to me. I'm looking forward to increasing that AFK. That's all for today. I would love to keep up with the other reveals as they come out. I'd appreciate a like on this video as I took extra effort to remain concise and potent in everything I said in this video.